Okay, so yet again to update you guys because again it has changed dramatically since then. There are now over 2,000 cases and 56 deaths in China, and there are 3 cases in the United States with over a dozen other countries and 4 continents with the disease. This includes Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia, and North America. So actually, 5 continents overall. But yeah, so this is not really improving. The world is yet again bracing for another Chinese originated virus called the novel coronavirus. Formal name is either novel coronavirus or 2019-NCOV. It is believed to be originated in China from snakes, but it's not completely confirmed. It is confirmed that it originated from a meat market. And one problem with this, one thing that is actually one of the reasons why these viruses the last 2 viruses have tended to begin in China is because they like to eat very exotic animals raw. I'm not going to be like Fox News and like bash the culture, but cook your food. So this is very similar to the SARS outbreak, which happened in 2003, 2002, and 2003. It's very similar to it because it causes similar symptoms, and again, it occurred and originated in China. The virus itself is not extremely harmful. It's similar to a flu or a common cold, but it causes pneumonia in, I think, 1/4 of all cases, which is a lot considering there have been over 1,300 cases already. The pneumonia is normally a cause of death in people with weakened immune systems, so this could well affect the entire elderly population for a long time to date if this really does begin to spread. It spreads just like a normal cold, just like a normal coronavirus, which includes a common cold. It spreads through secretions of inner fluids like, well, the spit when you cough, for example. There have been over 1,300 confirmed cases, with 5,000 believed to have been affected, but most people don't go to the hospital for getting a small virus. Or well, it's not a small virus, but most people don't go to the hospital for it. Overall, there have been 41 confirmed deaths from it, but there could be even more deaths due to China's failure to actually do autopsies. They don't do autopsies in China. Again, thank you, Kelly. It has spread to many countries already. It's already spread to 8 countries, I think. Some of these countries include obviously China, France, the United States, Thailand, Hong Kong, the Macau province, which is in eastern China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, Malaysia, Nepal, Singapore, and Vietnam. So that is a lot. Those are obviously a lot of countries that this is spread to. This is very similar to SARS, even though I wasn't alive while it spread. It's very similar to SARS, how the outbreak began. There are 2 cases currently in the United States, one in Chicago, one in Seattle. Both are in good condition. One of them, the victim in Seattle is 30 and is a male in his 30s, and the victim in Chicago is a female in her 60s. There are 63 potential cases in 22 states with 2 very possible coronavirus cases. There are 63 people being watched, but there are 2 potential actual cases, and this is at Texas A&M and Colorado. The Colorado dude, I just realized, actually was confirmed to be negative for it. But yeah. I don't think this has an immediate effect on the United States. There have only been 2 confirmed cases, and both of them are very heavily isolated under, well, the best medicine in the world we call Western medicine. While most of these people were isolated from the communities before they even got the virus, before they even actually felt symptoms, it's something to at least keep in mind and to worry about. So if I were you, I'd just take necessary precautions. Always wash your hands. Well, don't lick your face all the time. Don't pick your nose, etc. there is a travel ban in China actually because of this, and 50 plus million people are under that travel ban, and this includes a lot of the Wuhan, I think it's Wuhan province. Oh, Hubei province, sorry. The Hubei province in China. I mean, this is obviously very dramatic. I mean, this is the 150th, or no, not even 150, 140th of the population is under a travel ban because of a very contagious virus. 140th of the human population is under a travel ban, under a universal quarantine by one virus that has already claimed many, many, many lives. Even though this has been very dramatic so far, the WHO, or the World Health Organization, is not calling it a global health emergency, specifically because it has not spread around the world as much as you would think. Now, while there have been cases occurring in like 8 or so different countries, it has been very largely contained, and they're mostly in developed countries. So the chances of it actually spreading very strongly immediately is very low. But you really never know when it comes down to it. Now, there has been a study done on this that says it could kill up to 65 million people in the next year and a half, which this is probably a very worst case scenario, so please take it with a grain of salt. I highly doubt it's going to be 65 million, but the truth is you never really know. So just keep it in mind and, again, take the necessary precautions. Now, is the media traumatizing this? I can't even begin to say how much they are. Yes, they are. They are dramatizing this like crazy. For example, the flu, which is very rarely on at the top of the headlines, kills 54,000 people a year. It killed 54,000 people last year and 80,000 in 2018. And many, many millions of people are get the disease every single year. Now, obviously, because this has occurred for, 100 years, like H1N1, Spanish flu, it's been here since then. I mean, H1N1 is still one of the most prominent flu viruses in the United States right now. But it still is responsible for way, way more deaths than mostly everything else. I mean, the flu virus around the world kills 650,000 people a year. And you might think that's not enough, that's not a ton compared to 7.8 billion people. But also remember this, 600,000 people die from smoking every year. That is less than how many people die from the flu. I mean, that's still nowhere near as much as pollution. 4 million people die a year from that. But yeah, has this occurred before? Yes, this has occurred before. Actually, much, much worse things have occurred in very further back history, not really modern history. There's been the Spanish flu, which killed 50 million people. But when we go to the very modern history, you have SARS, the severe acute respiratory illness, 2002 and 2003. 8,000 people contracted the illness and nearly 800 died. And this, though like not like a billion people contracted it, it's still very severe because, I mean, 10% death rate, that's a lot. Now, this, of course, again, spread from a Chinese meat market, which exemplifies the fact that they need to actually cook their foods. But I'm not going to judge their culture. I'm not an ethnocentrist. Are there any viruses worse than this? Of course. I already covered the flu virus with 80,000 in 2017, or 80,000 in 2018, 54,000 in 2019. It actually might be 2017 and 2018. Do not quote me on that. But yeah. I mean, this is it's not something to be losing your mind about yet. If it starts to spread in the United States, then you probably should get a mask, get a hospital mask or a surgical mask. Please do. How this will affect us? There are many ways in which it could. I can't even say if it will affect us yet, but I personally do believe it will. Here's why. I mean, with the extreme increased globalization, viruses like this are much harder to contain among one country. Now, you could do a universal quarantine in a country, but I mean, what would that do? I mean, China has 1.4 billion people. There are, of course, going to be loopholes to something like that. It's very, very unlikely that this will not spread in some form. I have to admit that. But I do not personally believe it is going to be something that will change our lives forever, change the entire course of humanity. It could, but it probably won't. So just stay cautioned, but don't delve into it as much as I am, because there's really no point in doing it. You're just going to freak yourself out as much as I am freaked out about this, because I cannot deny I am pretty scared about it. But just because I'm scared about it doesn't mean you should be like losing your mind, because it's not as bad as even I portray it to be. Anyways, thank you for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was my first real public announcement. I will be making a lot more of these. I kind of want to get back into the news realm of everything. And yeah, I really just want to get back into news, because I think I'm very good at presenting it. Anyways, thank you, and I hope you guys enjoyed.